I get delayed one more time, I'm going to take a hostage. I put my phone on airplane mode. It's rained off the hook this morning. Somebody's trying to sell me insurance in 3 different states. They call every day. Every single day they call me and try to sell me insurance. At the very end of the little phone call, it says hit 9 to be put on the do not call list. I hit 9 every time, and what happens? They call right back. Every time. I've called all morning. I got on airplane mode. I am just sick and tired of fooling with them today. This is American Beech, and a lot of people call this elephant tree, and the reason being is because of this bark here on the outside. It's not flaky like regular bark will be on a tree. It's really smooth. A lot of people like to carve their names into this stuff. There's a few carvings on this side actually. Look, there's no nails. That's why they call this elephant tree, is because of the appearance. It just looks like an elephant skin on the outside here. It's gray. Kind of favors birch a little bit. So this will be my first time ever sawing up a beech tree. I've tried to get my hands on beech over the past few years. It's kind of hard to come by. We got plenty of it around here, but nobody cuts it. The loggers usually don't touch it. And if they do cut it down, it goes to the pulpwood mill, gets ground up into paper. So it's just not something around here that people like to fool with. And it's pretty heavy. The moisture content's pretty high on this log. The diameter, I think, is 22 inches, and it's an 8-footer. And I could really feel it on the tractor when I was picking it up. It's really heavy. There's a lot of water in this log. My buddy over at the fire department that brought me this log told me he had trouble even getting it up on his trailer with his tractor. He had to use a winch. So a lot of moisture in here, a lot going on with it. And beech also has an interlocking grain, and that's why we got a quarter saw it. If we flat saw this, it's going to be a disaster when it air dries and kiln dries. It'd just be terrible. I don't think it will turn out at all very well. So we'll definitely be quarter sawing this one today. And judging by the heart, we're actually pretty fortunate because the heart is pretty straight in this log. It's got a little bit of taper on the top, but we'll take care of that on the first cut. So we should be able to do some good quarter sawing here and get some good stable wood out of this thing. Now down here on the operator side, I got it turned to the widest point, which is about 22 inches, which I'm really not concerned with when you're quarter sawing. What you want to make sure you do on quarter sawing is get this pith at the same height on both ends of the log. And if it turns out that's going to be the widest point, well, that's a good thing right there. You know, you win both battles right there. But the major thing you want to do is make sure that pith is the same height on both sides. And right now it looks like it's about 9 inches front to back. So what I'm going to do is take one small cut on the top and just barely skim down. I'll probably come down about 2 inches. Then we'll have a flat reference face to work off of, and I'll measure down from that face to the pith, or the heart rather, and make sure we're still at the same location on both ends. There's not a lot of taper in this log, so we should be in good shape once we saw that off. There's that phone ringing. I bet it's the insurance people. We'll take a hostage. This is getting out of hand. Hello?
Hello. This call is regarding a community outreach. We are reaching out to families and individuals who may have a drug or alcohol addiction, or may have a friend, family member who are seeking professional help.
Jesus Christ. I tell you what, somebody sold my phone number to a call list, and they are wearing me out. Non-stop. Well, the blade done pretty good. It didn't feel like a sharp blade by no means, and it should be feeling pretty sharp. I only made about 4 cuts with it yesterday, but it's cutting straight and true, so that's what matters. And I should be able to get this log done before I gotta switch it out. Pretty stuff here. Not too bad. My goodness, this is heavy. We'll go ahead and scrape off the dust on the top here, and we'll take a look at this beech for the first time. Pretty interesting. That's some pretty stuff right there. Not too bad on the first cut. No knots on this face. Kind of reminds me of pine just a little bit and how light it is. Alright guys, we got the pith centered on both sides. So now we'll take the saw head and use the AccuSet 2 system to set up our middle cut, in which we'll do what we always do here. We'll square up that pith and take a slice right out of the middle, and that way we'll have really nice quarter sawn boards on the side, and it will get rid of that pith right there in the middle of it. And after this is kiln dried, I'll put it back in the sawmill, saw that pith out of it, and throw it in the firewood pile. Or you can actually do that before if you want to. I usually do it afterwards. So let me get back here on the saw head and we'll square up this cut. So what I really liked about this AccuSet 2 system is the auto up feature. So you can go down and find where you want to start cutting at and work your way up. That's the best feature on here when it comes to the AccuSet, I think. It's got the pattern cutting, which is beneficial, but this auto up feature is just great. I love it. Bring it on down, just below, right there below the pith. Center it up. It ain't gotta be perfect, you just want to get it where it's going to be getting captured inside of the slab and getting rid of it. A little bit lower. So, let's see what we got. Yeah, perfect right there. It should grab that quarter sawn grain on the sides. So let's hit the auto up feature. I'm sawing this first slab at 10/4, 2.5 inches. So we'll come up. Right there. So we'll make our first cut and remove that top section. We'll come back and quarter saw it later. And then go back in auto down mode, finish up where we started at right here. It's pretty simple. And if you're wondering why I'm cutting this at 10/4 and not the usual 9/4 that I cut slabs at, I will explain that as soon as we make these 2 cuts and see what we got. Alright guys, that went pretty good. Down here on the operator's side, got the pith right there in the middle. Moved the slab over a few inches and my goodness, it's heavy. Heavy stuff. Come down here on the other end. And right there in the middle is the pith. Careful planting, guys, don't get in no hurry. And stuff like this will happen for you if you're running a sawmill. Try to get rid of that pith if you can. It is useless. As you can see on the face up there, all the cracking, that's why you want to get rid of it. Terrible, terrible stuff right there in the middle, just terrible. So after you get rid of the pith, you will still end up with about 10-inch wide boards on both sides. Our total width is 23.5 inches. That's pretty good. Let's knock off this dust and we should have some nice straight grain beech with medullary rays coming up. There they are. Very nice right there. Very nice. I'll put a little water on this and hopefully it will show up better. I don't know if you guys can see the rays or not, but you got the ray fleck coming up right here on the face. Man, there's a lot of moisture in there. I ran my water on the blade, but this wood is just soaking wet right here. Just extremely high moisture content. That's why it's so heavy. Push this over in the loading arms, and when we're done sawing the rest of this beech, put it back up here and go ahead and take out this pith. This stuff is so heavy and dense, I'd rather go ahead and just get rid of it now than fool with it later, and make it a lot easier to handle when I'm stacking it for air drying and when it goes into the kiln, which will probably be a year or two from now. This stuff, you gotta dry extremely slow. I'll probably let this stuff air dry for at least 18 months to 2 years maybe. Maybe longer, we'll see. I've never dried beech before. If you're wondering what this stuff is for, I'm hoping this will make tabletops for furniture, since it's going to be really stable being quarter sawn. And it's hard to find, you know, quarter sawn beech nowadays. Not a lot of people out there are sawing it, like we was talking about earlier. Nobody's hardly harvesting it around here. And also, these can be made into bench planes, the old style wooden hand planes from the 18th century and beyond that was all made with quarter sawn beech most of the time. So there's still guys out there making bench planes out of wood, and I have a few of the modern maker hand planes in my tool chest in there. So maybe some of these will end up as jack planes and joiner planes one day, who knows. I wouldn't mind making one myself. So that's what I'm aiming for as far as what this stuff will be turned into. I would say most of it would go to tool makers because it's just hard to find quarter sawn beech in this country if you make hand planes or spoke shades or anything like that. A lot of these smaller sections I'm going to saw at 5/4, and that's perfect size for spoke shades and for molding planes. So let's get this pulled off and start working on the rest of this and seeing how it goes. Extremely heavy. It would be nice to have had some help today. Ah, look at it.